Hey guys, Alex Radioactive here, and today's video is a little different than normal. It's part of another new series. As you guys know, I'm doing a couple different series here with the channel. Not only am I doing my normal videos, but I'm also doing a couple series like Furries with Disabilities, this is part one to that series, which will be bringing back my good friend Citrine from the other series that I was doing where what is being a furry to you. So Citrine, I'm gonna go ahead and let you take it away. This is a little bit longer video, guys, than normal, but Citrine has a lot of good facts and information about his disability and things that he deals with on a daily basis. And yeah, so we're gonna let Citrine take over from here.
Hey everybody, it's Citrine Husky, and thanks again to Alex for letting me be on his channel once again. I was here just a little while ago doing the What Does Being a Baby for ABDL Mean to You? But he brought it to my attention that he's wanting to do some stuff about educating people on disabilities, and he brought it up to me that, if I was interested in being on his channel, that he'd love to have me. So I'm here to talk to you today a little bit about what it means to be visually impaired and blind, and what some of the repercussions of it are, and what some of the upshoots of it are, because there's a lot of things that I do in my day-to-day life, and a lot of different things that I use and different ways that I do things. And a lot of people don't really know these things too well because it's not common knowledge, which is fine. I'm happy to oblige and happy to inform people. By the way, I apologize if you hear sounds in the background once in a while. That's just my dogs. They're making noise, playing with toys and stuff like that. But anyway, so I do a panel with my mate called The Blind Side, and we've done it at several furry conventions over the past couple of years to educate people. So this is that panel in a nutshell, and it also may include a few other things since I'm not restrained on time. So I will let you know really quick what I have in terms of what makes me visually impaired or legally blind. I was born with a cataract on my left eye, and so it's been there since birth, and there was no way they could remove it. It had grown to the eye by the time I was old enough that they could even attempt to do surgery on something like that. So I've never been able to see it all out of my left eye. It'd be just like if you just put your hand up to it, no sunlight, no nothing. It doesn't hurt, but it's just something that is there. So my vision is just non-existent in that eye, and if I appear like I'm just looking off into the distance and that eye looks like it's got soup in it, then that's kind of what's going on. In terms of my right eye, I had vision that was 20 over 400 up until about a year and a half ago because I have partial retina detachment, which basically means that the cord that is behind your eye that connects your eye to the brain, it's not quite connected right. It's in a normal person, it just looks like a little straight line that goes back and connects. With mine, it basically looks like the curl on Wonder Bread on the package, so it's not quite right. So my vision was already skewed, but I ended up having cataract surgery back in August because I had a cataract that started forming back in late 2019 on that eye, and I was able to have it removed. My vision is starting to go back to normal now, but it is a procedure that does take time to heal, and there's issues along the way, but we're dealing with those, so it's going fine. Um,
What does
so
2400 mean?
Oh, okay. Snowflake is here. Say hi to the people, Snowflake.
Hello.
She's off camera for right now, but she'll show up at some point. She's kind of giving me pointers on what people might be asking. Really quick, 20 over 400, a normal person has 20/20 vision, which means that when I say I have 20 over 400, what you might be able to see as someone who can see regularly, what you might see at 400 feet away, I'd have to be 20 feet away before it would even come into my field of vision. Um, and so I did graduate from the Indiana School for the Blind in 2011, and my mate graduated from the Indiana School for the Blind in 2012. So we both have experience working with people on our caliber who do have some sight and people who have no sight whatsoever. So we have a wide array of experiences and insight, no pun intended. And so this is going to be a little presentation for you guys. I'm not going to edit it. I'm just going to shoot straight through it. We've got a bunch of stuff piled up over here that my mate is going to hand me, and I'm going to talk about it. And hopefully you learned something new. And I will mention this at the end again, but I'll mention it here. If you have something that you're curious about, feel free to approach us at conventions. We will be happy to answer any questions that you have if we don't answer them here, or you can leave them down in the comments of this video and Alex can relay them to me, and I will be happy to reach out to you and answer them, because I'm always happy to answer the questions that people have for educational purposes, of course. We'll go ahead and get started here. I'll just let you hand me something random, and that'll determine where I go from here. Oh, you're going to hand me. Okay, this is called a monster. I'm assuming that you can see this pretty well. So
lean it a little more forward.
Yeah.
And tip it forward.
Oh, tip it forward. Okay.
There you go.
So this is what's called a Braille writer, otherwise breaking my arm. So it's about 10 pounds worth of just metal. And what this is, Braille is something that is used for visually impaired and blind people. And it is, think of it as 6 little dots, 3 on each side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so on this you have dots 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have the space bar in the middle. You have the line down. So you would take the paper and roll it into the top of this. And then you can, it doesn't have any paper in it now, so it's not going to do it right now. But you basically roll it in, and then these flaps hold the paper in place. And then as you're typing things, the thing here comes across, letting you know that when it gets to the end over here, it won't go anymore. And then you just bring it back to the beginning, go down to the next line. There is a backspace here on the end. And that basically is for if you mess up. But frankly, if you mess up in Braille, it's not pretty. Because it basically cuts tiny little holes in the paper and pulls them up so that you can feel the dots. So if you do mess up on Braille, and there's a thing that I won't really get into too much. There's a thing called basically it looks like a little thimble. And you basically have to poke the holes back down. So pretty much you learn to write pretty well. But like I said, Braille is just basically what blind people use to read. And I won't go into too much detail on this, but I'll just let you know there are different types of Braille. There's grade 1, which is just A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Fun little song there. Then there is grade 2, which is, in Braille, there are different symbols that mean different things. So there's a symbol for commonalities in the English language. So like there's a symbol for WH, for TH, for ABLE, for TION, SION, MENT, for ING. You get the point. Things that you can short form. And in grade 2, there's also just things that you just kind of learn. Like letters by themselves mean something. If I see D in the middle of a sentence, then that means do. G means go. There's things like that that mean different things that you just kind of get used to. And of course, there is Braille and for music and for doing things like math, but I'll be honest with you, I never really had to learn those things because I read music more by ear and I was able to learn basic sheet music, and math was annoying enough for me as it was in high school. I didn't really feel like learning geometry and stuff like that in Braille as well as in large print, so I stuck with large print. But yes, and if you ever want to know what it feels like, there are easy examples. If you look it up, then you'll see what it looks like in terms of the dot forms. And if you ever want to actually feel it, then, feel free to approach me at a con. I have some stuff that does have Braille on it that you can actually feel. But yeah, so that is the main thing with Braille. I will set this down so my leg doesn't break now. Ugh. Jeez. So heavy. Oh, geez. Okay, so now we're going by the as seen on TV. And I'm just going to touch on this for a second. It's segues. But you'll see some things at Walmart. Now, I don't really recommend the things that you see at Walmart because a lot of times the as seen on TV is kind of, I guess you would say it's not the best. It's kind of just there to sell and get rid of. But there are some things that technically can work. For those who are like myself and Snowflake, who do have some visual stimuli, we actually use glasses. And so these you can get at Walmart on the as seen on TV. Now, I'm not going to poke them into the screen to blind you guys, but it basically has the light here on the end. And so it's lighting up my hands like you could use this to read a book, and it does magnify a little. However, those are just as seen on TV ones. Now, what I recommend is the actual ones that are for actual prescriptions, and those are a little better. But you usually have to go to the doctor to get these. So something like this that gives more of a Steve Urkel appearance. But let me tell you, you don't really care what you look like when you can't see yourself. And when it helps you, hey, So if you ever see me like this, I'm probably reading a con book, or I'm probably trying to read the menu at a restaurant or something like that. Don't always use them, especially not right now while my vision's healing, but that's okay. Now, something that I might also use at a restaurant and to read books sometimes, or just read what have you, is called a Picot. These are also called minis. There's a few different names for them, but this particular one is called a Picot. And basically what it is you just push the on button, and then it lights up.
You didn't turn it on.
I didn't?
Nope.
Is it being stubborn? Ah! It blinded me more! But
Here's the back of the Paw Patrol movie.
Basically, okay. But it basically just...
Hold on.
Okay.
Right there.
But it basically is just magnifying the things so you can read it. And you can, I'm not going to right now, but you can use the buttons here. You can use them to zoom in a little bit. You can use it to change the colors, or you can change it to actually basically take a screenshot on the screen here to take an image for a minute so that you can actually see something and actually examine it. So, since you gave me the Paw Patrol DVD, I'm going to transition into another type of media for a minute. So, I like Paw Patrol. That said, there is a thing on DVDs that you will see. Not all DVDs, but more and more are getting it these days, which is called audio description. And you can turn it on or off. I don't know if I don't think it's on this, but
No.
But there are on some DVD players even that have an audio descript function that will describe to you what is going on in the movie. He raises the we'll say he raises his samurai sword. Basically as he's doing it, and it's usually a different person.
Zootopia on Disney Plus does it if you put it on the
Does it?
audio descript language.
That'd be a good movie for a lot of people on this channel. Zootopia has it on Disney Plus. You can put it as audio descript. So if you want to have fun,
go into your language and click it.
Just go into language and click it?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so if you have Disney Plus, you can check that out. Let me know what you think of it. I deal with it all the time. So I'm going to set this here. Okay, what am I getting now? Oh, a binocular. Basically, this is a one-eyed pair of binoculars. And you just look into it. And you basically you can twist it to zoom into something closer, or tighten it to zoom in on something farther away.
I believe that's power 12 on that one.
Power 12?
Yeah.
Okay, so basically this would magnify 12 times what you're seeing. So if you look through this and you have it at the top of its game, then you're magnifying 12 times. So basically, this is a long distance Picot without the blinding light that you can get. And it comes with a neat little thing. So you can just be a tourist and you can put it over your, not getting it caught on your hair. And you can put it on your person and carry it around and be like, hey! It was trying to bite me. Yeah. Now, if you want to protect yourself from the light, then something that I wear sometimes, and Snowflake especially wears, because Snowflake is an albino, which, ask her sometime what that means. Basically, in a nutshell, that means that her skin and pigment don't get along, basically, because her skin doesn't have much pigment.
It has no.
Ergo, the sun is her mortal enemy. But sunglasses are basically a good way to help. Now, you can say, well, you can get sunglasses at the store. Yes, you can. But these sort of sunglasses will block out heavier light. They'll block out the sunlight a lot better. They're doctor prescribed. And as you can see, they kind of maybe on the sides and underneath, they sort of almost have an effect similar to goggles. Because they wrap around so that I don't have any sunlight coming in on the sides or the top. And especially right now while my eyes are healing, I definitely feel Snowflake's pain because the lens in my eye, the new lens that they put after they removed the cataract, makes my eyes hate the sun so much. So that's something that we can definitely use. Okay, now over here we have what is called homemade. You can get these. Forgive me, I'm drawing a blank. What's the name of the website? It's just basically the
Revelations.com. Revelationcane.com or something like that.
Okay. But there's the Revelation website, which has so many different things that I'm not even going to mention today because there's just not enough time in the world.
It's Revelation, Low Vision, and something else, I think.
Okay. But anyway, so what this is, other than a peekaboo slot, is basically something that you would use, say like if I had to go to the doctor's and I have to sign a document, or if I'm, somewhere out in public and they need me to sign a receipt or something, I will put it underneath this. And then I will take the pen and I would just... write. Basically, I would have somebody who can see a little bit line it up to where the line of signature would be right in here. And then that way I can just sign my name. And then that way I'm not just signing it where it says, what is your date of birth? Citrine. What is your name? 1993. That way you're not just completely messing up and making a lot of... It makes it easier for you, and it makes it a lot easier for the people doing the paperwork. So while this one's just a handmade one with duct tape and a flash card, you can buy them. But we just made a hand one because we couldn't find one that we have around the house right offhand. So we just made one in 5 minutes. So there you go. We made something special just for you on the cuff. Now, if you wonder how blind people actually play games, there are a lot of games that are brailled. There's a lot of games such as Candyland, Monopoly, stuff like that that are actually brailled. But there's also games like this, which I might be taking when I come to hang out with Alex and a few other friends here in a few weeks, which is Uno. And this, it basically has on the front... it's just basically saying there's basically Uno, the fun card game, and it just has the card information on it. So like a yellow 5 would say, Y, and then the number 5 on it, and that way I know. So that way I can play right along with you. So you can see it, and I can see it, and we don't have to worry about... Do you know what that is? Are you not sure what that is? And, feeling bad and having people see your cards and then they can cheat because they're cheaters. So you don't have to worry about that.
I said sorry.
What? Are you outing yourself as a cheater? Cheater, pumpkin eater?
I did it once.
You cheated! Cheater! She's a cheater, guys. She cheats at card games? Yeah. So, Ooh, this is fun. This is my baby. So this is called a Victor Stream. And what these are is these are basically a fancy recording device. But I can also, it's compatible to record, but you can also listen to books on this. So I can take a book or a Word document, a text document, and I can put it on here and I can listen to something. I can listen to a book and have it read it to me. I can speed it up. I can slow it down. I'm going to turn it on for just a second and it will talk to me. Oh, of course you are. It's called being stubborn. Everything does it these days, didn't you realize? Get it normal. Get normal. There we go. Sheesh. Life is fun, guys. Technology ever fight you? It does me. It's the world. But it has 3 functions. You can do speed, so I can speed it up. Tone, so I can make it like more record or muffled, or I can make it really loud and buoyant. Then it has volume, which obviously you know what that is. But I just have notes on this little SD card that's in it. So like you can take like an SD card that you can buy at Walmart, and you just stick it in the top of it, and then you can start recording with it. The one thing that I have, I believe one of the things that, some things that I have on here right now that are just notes, so you can tell that I recorded with it. Oh, Artemis Wishfoot. Shout out to Artemis. Love him. But anyway, so it's just a fun little device. I can put music on it if I want to. I can listen to books on it if I want to. And I can record notes on it. And it's mainly what I use to record the music that I write so that I have it for later. So that's a definite thing that I use. Now, this is what's known as a wallet. I understand sighted people have these. I put a lot of things in the thingy. So I'm going to hold it this way so you can't tell what my card information is, but with my hand over it. But basically, I have my wallet organized to where my card would be in the very front, and then my ID would be right behind it. And then my bank card would be behind that. And basically, I have things organized out in my wallet so that I know where everything is. And I know a lot of sighted people do that, but as a blind person, I do it very meticulously because that way I can just like open, and I like the zip wallets because then nothing falls out. And so it's just kind of nice to be like, can I see your ID, please? Make sure I give them the debit card, not the credit card.
You can fold your money certain ways.
Yeah, well, most wallets do that. If you, I don't know. I guess some people don't do that. Me personally, I always organize my money in my wallet if I carry cash. Because if I carry cash, then it's always ones in the front, highest in the back. But who in the world has hundreds except for millionaires these days? But yeah, so that is something that I do.
I meant folding your money, like
you talking?
Fold your dollars in half, keep your 20s straight.
Oh yeah, no, I've done that before. I don't do it all the time, mainly because half the time I just have my bank card. I don't have cash, because most of the time I just use debit card. But if I do have cash, then yeah, usually ones are kind of folded over in half in my wallet, so that way I know that okay, those are the tiny bills. So that's something that I definitely do. So I don't know what you... Okay. So I do want to mention this because I have gotten this before, so you're visually impaired or you're legally blind. You're in the furry fandom. Do you still, partake in the fandom itself? Yeah, I do. If you've seen me on a few videos back when I did the what does being an AVDL mean to you thing for Alex, on here, I had my fursuit, which was my very first one, Citrine. So I do fursuit, and fursuiting does have to do a lot with hearing, but it also has to do with sighted guide, and it has to do with people hearing and having handlers. So obviously a lot of suitors have handlers, and a lot of suitors, you can't see that well in suit. So that's something that I still can do. I'm slightly hindered, but then again, it's kind of nice to know that everybody else who's in suit is kind of blind like me. So yay! But in other regards, yes, I do partake in the art part of the furry fandom. I do have badges. Shout out to Marcy McAdams, which if you're a baby fur and you haven't got a Marcy badge, you really should think about it. Her and Jade Fox, I've got one of both. They're just they're just cool people. But so yeah, I do have badges and art and stuff like that. So
Free notifications.
oh, so that's what you're doing. Sorry, Snowflake is doing stuff off camera, and I don't know what she's doing.
Library.
So where I had my Victor a few minutes ago, there is also obviously apps that you can use, such as Window Eyes, Jaws. VoiceOver is a
Narrator.
common one. Narrator is a common one that actually come on PCs and on iPads and stuff that you actually don't have to worry about reading, paying good money for, because they actually are free.
You just have to.
They do have their glitches. They do have their glitches, but you get what you pay for, and they work enough. Because sometimes Window Eyes is actually upwards of $1,000. So just saying, sometimes it's worth saving $1,000 and just dealing with a glitch here and there. It's not that bad.
So just
Yeah.
to quickly sideway in, because they're going to see this and you're not.
Okay.
I have a negative contrast on my books, which means my pages are black and my writing is white.
Yeah.
That's easier for me to read, but he's not going to be able to see that, so I'm just going to make it read to him.
He could not see. He
Ha!
could not hear. And
Well, that's pretty accurate. He could not see, and I mean I can hear, but
he could not. The river roars. Of milk was gone, and with it the chapter 1.
I can't get it to read the full page.
no, but that's okay. You guys get the point. Wolves of the Beyond, check it out. I swear I'm not trying to shout out all kinds of stuff in this video, but I'm just calling out what it is if you're just curious. Wolves of the Beyond. But anyway.
Web page loaded. Portrait. Web page loaded.
See, here's the thing. You can't put an iPad in timeout because it interrupts you, but you can put a person in timeout because they interrupt you. And that's why sometimes they're reading things. Ooh, drinkies.
Could do that.
I'm not going to... No, I'm not actually going to. Okay, so I have here a soda. And people wonder, like, how do you know when a cup is full? A lot of people, they can tip and they can see it. Well, I can't. So I use my pointer finger, and I'll stick it over the edge of the cup. And I'm not going to pour it in right now, but I would just pour in, and then once it reaches my finger, I know, okay, stop. I know. Now, when you're talking about stuff that is really hot, such as coffee or, tea and stuff, you can actually get little temperature gauge things that will clip onto the side of your cup. I do not currently have one, but I don't really have a need for one because I have calluses on this hand on the ends of my fingers from playing guitar, so it doesn't really burn my fingers near as much as it would somebody else. So yeah, that's something to think about. And speaking of drinkies, now we're going to talk about food because everybody loves their knobs. Make sure you handed it to me right. Yes. Okay. So why does the plate look like a clock? We're not going back to math class here, I promise. What we're talking about is that when I go out to a restaurant, I'm not good at knowing where things are on the plate because I can't see them. So I treat the plate like a clock. If you've been out with me to eat before, then you might know that I will use my fingers and I will kind of poke at the edge of my plate and kind of figure out where things are before I start digging in with a spoon, fork, and knife. And I will be like, okay.
Or have someone say to tell you.
If it's a messy food, then I'll have somebody tell me. But if it's not that messy of a food, then I'll poke at it myself. And basically I'll be like, okay, French fries are from, we'll say French fries on the plate were from 6 to 9. And then the sandwich was from 9 to 3. And then my dipping, my ketchup or whatever for the fries or whatever was from 3 to 6. Okay, now I'm gonna know so that I don't reach for my sandwich and get a handful of ketchup. It's a simple tactic, but it really does work. Blind people will think of a plate as a clock, and that's a simple way to figure that out. Nice there. Is there anything else over there, or are we just? Oh, okay. I forget what all I said over there. So up next, this is a cane, and if you've ever seen me at a convention, I do 99.9% of the time have one of these with me, and it basically just falls out into itself. It'll just fall into place, and I basically use it to feel what's in front of me. It's my eyes for the ground, and while I can't do an exact demonstration here, what I am going to tell you
You can.
is
If
that
you just give me a second.
I don't know if we can. Can we?
Yes.
Okay. Well.
You're just gonna have to stand up, and I'm gonna have to hold the computer.
Okay. Let me unplug it then.
Yes.
Okay. Going for a ride, guys. This is unedited. Okay, I'm gonna go here, I guess.
After you run into it, yes.
What do you mean?
You ran into the wall.
No, I moved back toward the wall.
All right, you're in full view.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm standing. So, the cane, you would hold it out in front of you, and usually you sweep back and forth from 10 to 2, roughly about. There's a few different ways you can do this. If you're like me right here, I'm just going to walk a few steps. You do what's called trailing, where you go just kind of in front of you as you walk, so until it's like, oh, there's a doorway there. Maybe I should go into that if I want to. So that's trailing so that you know where the wall is. Like I said, there's the 10 to 2, where if your cane is out at 2, then your opposite foot is walking. So, you basically go back and forth. So whatever way the cane is facing, your foot is out because it's already been trailed as safe on that side.
Or as we like to say, pretend you're kicking the cane tip out of your way.
Yeah, basically. And so the cane itself, there are a few other things that you can do. Now, one thing that I do on occasion, if I don't know the place, is basically you're just shielding yourself, which, like, if I'm not sure if there's an obstacle in my way that's going to hit me at eye level, because last thing you want is a bump on the head, then I will do this. Basically, think of it as kind of like windshielding or saluting, and you just kind of do that. So if something's in your head, then your arm's going to bump it before your head does, so that way you don't end up conking yourself. So other than that, there is, and it's fine. You don't have to if you don't want to. But
I can. Just everybody don't make fun of my snowflake PJs.
Okay.
Put the computer down.
Okay.
All right. So you're going to see the back of his chair. Yeah, you're there. Am I coming over there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So this is an example of
to
where they can see.
Give me this.
Okay. You takes.
All right. Here's my elbow.
Okay. So in order for sighted guide, which blind guiding the blind, believe it or not, happens more times than you think. It really does. It's funny. But if a sighted person is helping me out, then I can do two things. One, I can either take their elbow or around their elbow and just kind of grip it in my palm, and then they start walking, and then I just follow along behind them. Whee!
Backing up.
Now, backing up, well, you backed up. And so the other thing, which is just being simple, is if we're going through a narrow place or a really crowded place, then I'll just be right behind them. And if they have long hair, sometimes, like if it's my mate, then maybe I'll hold on to their hair. But most of the time, the professional thing to do is just kind of cup your palm in as if you're going to be like, knuckle touch. You're going, yeah. Then you do that, and you just kind of put it against their back, and you just follow.
Or just hold on to the shoulder blade if they're okay with that.
Yeah, there's a few different ways you can do it.
Cane back.
Cane back.
I'm gone.
Yay! Well, wait, I don't want you to be gone. Come back! Okay. I'm sitting down. I believe that's all that's over there, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
Now you can go into more fun things.
Okay. Well, there's just, I do apologize if this has been random. It's just, I felt like it was better this way so that way you didn't know what I was going to talk about next, but it all does have to do with blindness. We do have a few things that we do that technically don't fall into the whole aesthetic of being blind, but they help us. Um, so there is a sense of organization in our house where we kind of know, okay, this is, this is where all of our cups are, and this is where all of our plates are. And I know some people would say, well, most sighted people do that. Yeah, well, they do. But
The hairbrush goes in a certain place.
Yes.
The toothbrushes are in a certain place. You move those and we don't know where they're at.
Yeah. We have like our medicines in the bathroom. We know where those are. So that way we can be like, oh, we need ibuprofen. Okay, we can take that instead of NyQuil, if we have a headache at 10 in the morning, because that would be bad for the day. So and then some things we even use Braille labels for, such as the microwave and stuff like that. You can get Braille labels that you can put on the microwave, so that way you can be like, 30 seconds, yay, or popcorn. Everyone loves popcorn. And you can do that. And then we do have a washer and dryer that I believe are Samsung, and they make different sounds. Now, while a lot of washer and dryers and stuff like that today do make different electronic noises and stuff, me being visually impaired, I can't really see the things that I'm pointing to, but I know how to do the laundry and the basically do the laundry in the washer and the dryer, because I know what buttons to push that make certain sounds, and so I just learned that way, so I don't even have to look at it. So there is a lot of cool stuff like that, and it's really kind of interesting, because if I go to a new place, and if you ever see me around, you'll notice this. If I go to a new place, say if a convention's in a new hotel or something, or just whatever, I may kind of trail around and figure out things a little bit the night before. I'm just skimming around to kind of figure out the lay of the place a little bit, so that I know maybe some places that I'll be going on a regular, so that I don't have to try and figure out the place when there's a ton of people. Because I try and map it out in my mind and create a mental picture in my mind of what the place looks like, so that I can be like, okay, I'm in here. So this is how I get from here to here. I walk about maybe this, for this long, and then I take a left, and then I go about this far, third door, take a right, that sort of thing. Whereas you might be able to see it, I can't. And so that's always fun.
Should I just come up to you if you're just standing somewhere and just grab a hold of you and say, where do you need to go?
If you grab hold of me, I'm probably going to say, who in the Haiti are you? Unless you're afraid. Okay, here's the thing. If I'm standing somewhere, and if I look like I'm confused, or I just kind of look disheveled, feel free to be a courteous person. If you feel, I've got no problem with it. Feel free to come up and be like, hey, do you need help? Is there anything I can help you with? Are you looking for something? That's not going to bother me at all. I greatly appreciate that. That's fine. Worst case, I just say, no, I'm good. I'm just waiting on somebody. Okay, cool. You wouldn't think so, but common courtesy is not a hand-given thing. Some people don't know, and they have just come up, and they're just like, hey, I'm going to help you. And all of a sudden, I'm over there.
Or Snowflake is kicking them in the nuts.
And don't do that. Yeah. Ask us sometime if you see us at a con, or you just kind of see us around. Ask us sometime to tell you the story or two about when Snowflake or myself have been spooked, or either met stranger danger or creeper dude. We'll just call them that. And they almost got to where they couldn't have kids. We'll just say that. If you come up behind us, don't do that. We've actually had people do that too. Or they'll just come up behind us, and not friends. Like, friends know better. And even if they don't, we just kind of tell them, hey, common courtesy, don't. And that's fine. But we've had people come up behind us, hey, if you do that, one, don't. Two, don't blame us if we end up elbowing you or back kicking you. I thought that most people that even didn't have visual impairments, if they don't know that someone's in the peripheral and they come up behind them and they just grab them or grope them or whatever, that's like, no, don't do that. You might get whopped. And if I have my cane with me, then you might just have fun. You might just get thwacked in the ankle as hard as I can, and then I run away.
So is a proper way to come up and ask, should I just come up and say, hello, my name is Snowflake. I was wondering if you needed help.
Yeah.
Is that the proper way to approach you?
Yes. And
so I should not just come up behind you and say, I'm going to help you.
No, don't do that. Basically, you would think it'd be common sense. If you don't think the staff of the con or security would do it, maybe you shouldn't do it. Just saying, a little common sense definitely helps. Now, also, there are interesting things.
Dogs.
Yeah, there are interesting things that you will see at a con. I've seen this before. Okay, there are, and there was at First Square last year actually. There was somebody who had a. I don't know for a fact if it was a seeing eye dog, but I do know that it was wearing a vest. If you see a person with a dog that's wearing a vest or a harness, and they've got a hold on the lead, they're and it's basically if you see a dog and it's in a hotel and it's being guided around by somebody, you better ask before you even pet it, because that dog could be working. A guide dog is meant, their job, they are specially trained to help guide people to, the person may have tendencies to have seizures or, be prone to anxiety attacks. You never know.
Use them as a...
Oh, hi.
Use them as a little example.
Yes. Yeah, hi. Say hi. Hi, no. But the harness would be right here, and they'd basically be holding it. And if the dog, you need to ask first. It goes with the same rules last time. You don't have consent. You need to ask. Approach the person and say, "Oh, what a beautiful dog. Can I pet it? Would it be okay if I pet it? Is the dog working?" If they say yes, by all means, go on, proceed. If they say no, not right now, he's working, the dog is working, don't pet the dog. The dog is working. The dog is doing its job that it's been trained to do. And if you pet the dog, you can distract it from its job. You can cause the dog to become confused and irritated. You can cause danger to that person because the dog is not paying attention to them and is now focused on you.
Or you could accidentally get the dog in trouble because
Yes.
the person doesn't know
Yes.
you were there.
Yes. Because if you just walk up and you pet the dog and all of a sudden the dog stops doing what it's doing, the person who may not be able to see is going to basically flip the leash a little bit, which is common courtesy. It's not abuse. It's just the flip of the leash, and they may say something like "fui," which basically means bad. And I know what I said, you smart little turd. Not you. You're a good girl. You're a good baby. Yes. Yes. Okay. Let's say I think she's good now.
Mm-hmm.
But it means the B word in German. And so they recognize that as meaning, oh, I messed up. So yeah, you just don't want to pet the dog unless it's consent. Unless you have consent to pet the dog and you've cleared it with the owner, don't do it. Just common courtesy in general at cons, and you'll be just fine. Okay. I can't really think of too much else. At least not offhand. But again, like I said, if you do have anything that you can think of, then
When
you can.
you are in fursuit with your cane, is that a prop or is that you still using it as?
Oh, so that's a fun question. When I'm in suit, is my cane a prop or is it real? Uh, my vision doesn't get any better. Fursuit makes it worse. So, do you want down, baby? Okay, say bye-bye. Good girl. So if you see me with my cane in suit, it's still being used for its intended purpose to help guide me. My vision is worse now if I'm in suit. So absolutely don't think of it as a prop and be like, oh, I'm gonna just kick it or I'm just gonna take it away from you. Now there has been a time or two where I have been in a safe space and I've been, with friends who know that I'm blind and I know my location very well. And we're just playing around in suit and hamming it up for somebody, whatever, just kind of hamming it up, having fun. If I know the person and I know the location and you've talked to me about it, that's one thing. People do silly stuff when they're in suit, whatever. But unless you know me, don't just come up and be like, I'm going to take the cane away from you.
Don't ever just assume that the
don't,
item the
don't
person has
assume,
is just a prop.
Yeah, don't assume that it's a prop. Don't do that. Yeah, if you wouldn't take it from me out of suit, don't take it from me when you're in suit. That being said, obviously, like I said, if you are a friend and if you're like, oh, I'm going to take this now, and I'm like, no. Like, if we've both consented and it's just for having fun with the Sona, whatever. And I do make fun of being blind quite a bit because I have a sense of humor and I was always raised, you can't laugh at yourself, then, who can you laugh at? And so you may see me on stage sometimes with Alkali and a lot of other people doing charity Who's Line and stuff and be, I comedy better when I've had a few, whatever. Those panels where I'm making fun of being, blind and blah, blah, blah. I ran into this and haha, isn't that funny? Don't take it too seriously because while I do educate people and I do believe that people need to know the repercussions of being blind and what to do and not to do, I believe that you have to make light of it sometimes for the sake of comedy and for the sake of entertainment. But it isn't, but at the end of the day, I do take it seriously. So don't think that it's just a gimmick or a joke that I do. It really does mean a lot to me that people are educated about being, what it means to be blind so that myself and some other blind people that are actually in the community can better enjoy the fandom. And
I have 2 questions.
oh, do you?
If you are up on stage with a few other actors and if they are making fun of your blindness, should I be offended for you or yell at them afterwards for it?
All right. So, when we are up on stage, if you've got like Alkali and myself or Boozy or whoever, and we're up on stage and they're like, oh, you blind, and they take my cane, like, how you like me now? I got your eyes. You shouldn't get mad at them later. The thing that you need to understand is that comedy is like music. It's a performance. When we walk up onto that stage and when we walk off, we are friends. And in most cases, we don't know what's going to happen, but we know each other. We talk to each other off stage, at the bar and hotel rooms when we hang out. We know each other well enough long before the show to know where that limit is and not to cross it. Because there's a limit of having fun and having respect, and then there's a limit of being just downright crude and disrespectful. And we know where that limit is. So you shouldn't be offended and go and tell them how terrible they are for making fun of me or how mean I am for making fun of Kage or Alkali for, having a drinking problem, because we don't. We're just up there for your amusement and to try and raise money for the puppies and kitties at the charities, at the furry conventions. And if we can make you laugh, that's mainly what it's about. Don't take it to heart. We're laughing and we're able to hold our own and know where the limit is.
If I'm a random stranger, should I just come up to you and start making blind jokes at you?
If you do, it depends on two things. One, it depends on who you are. If you are just wanting to start off a conversation with, hey Citrine, do you see the sun come up today? Like, if you're going to be, I guess, to put it bluntly, if you're going to be an ass, then no, don't do that. Now, I've had people start off conversations and make a blind joke, be it unintentionally, something, you can't avoid some phrases. And I don't even count them as jokes, but some people are worried, I guess, that I'll get offended. But I'm not going to get offended that easy, guys.
If you say, I'll see you later.
I'll see you later. And they're like, sorry, I didn't mean to say. It's like, it's okay. And then I have to give them the first 2 hugs and let them know it's okay. It's okay. I'm not mad. I'm not not going to go get my cane and chase you down the hall. It's okay. Because, I have a good sense of humor. I really do. As long as you're not being a jerk about it, it's fine. Especially since I do blind jokes on stage, like I said, and I do comedy a bit and music. I get it if you want to make a joke about that as part of the conversation. Just think to yourself, is this going to come across as rude or really disrespectful? And, kind of use common judgment.
Or better yet, just ask the person if you can do a joke, because not everyone's going to react the same way as Citrine or I would.
Yeah, that goes for me. But, if you see somebody else, because I have a few other friends in the fandom who are blind, and if you go up and make a joke to them, I'm not saying that they're not chill, because they are, but they don't do comedy up on stage like I do. So they may take it more to heart and more seriously because they might not get the context. Well, not everybody's the same. Somebody might find something funny. Something might actually hurt somebody because you don't know what they've been through. So you don't know how much that joke might actually hurt. If they were teased about being blind the whole time that they were in school and they managed to actually go to public school constantly, then they may have a lot more anxiety and, self-doubt surrounding it than somebody who has basically taken, my position. And that it just depends on how you grew up and what your opinions are on it. But yeah, if you want to make
things
jokes,
you should think about are ask.
Yeah.
And I lost my train of thought.
Ask.
I know. Ask if it's okay, or so for many things, and then just don't be a dick.
Yeah, Alex has said that on his channel before. Basically, don't be a dick. Okay? Don't be a Richard.
And don't assume.
Yeah, don't assume.
Not everyone's the same.
No, not everyone's the same. But that's what makes us all the same. We're all different. Yeah?
Sure.
Kinda. No one's the same. But actually, that makes us all the same. This video is getting a lot more deeper than it should. But yeah, so those are the main things that I could think about. Sorry if this video rambled on a bit. I felt like going unscripted was better because then if I forgot something, Snowflake could be like, you forgot this, you ought to do something about that. And like I said, if you want to ask any other questions, you can leave them in the comments and then Alex can refer them to me and then I can definitely let you know and get back to Alex and he'll get back to you or whatever. And we will definitely answer any questions that you have. But I do want to thank you guys for checking out this video on Alex Radioactive's channel. If you want to check me out, I'm Citrine Husky on Twitter. If you want to follow me, I'm on Telegram. And I'm also on YouTube, just as Citrine Husky. I mainly post music there, but if you want to check me out, hey, more than happy to have you. And Yeah, I want to thank Alex Radioactive for letting me be on his channel, and I made this little bitty Braille thing that I'm actually going to give him when I see him here in a couple weeks. So even though you guys can't see what it says, Alex Radioactive is the best pupper and an awesome friend for letting me do this on his YouTube channel, Love Citrine. So guys, thank you so much for joining us today. And Alex, thanks so much for letting me post on your channel. And thank you so much. My name has been Citrine Husky, and this has been the education of what it's like to be visually impaired and legally blind in and outside of the furry fandom. Snowflake's been over here helping me out, and I will see you guys later. Bye!
Hey guys, so again, thank you, Citrine, for your video. It was very educational, very informing, and I hope a lot of these people will learn from it. And, that's what this channel is about. We want to help everyone else out, learn about all these different disabilities and how we can help those people with those at a con, and how we cannot, cause them, anxiety issues. We don't want to upset anyone, and we also don't want to hurt anyone, because there's a lot of different disabilities, and you can actually hurt someone. Like with my bad back, if someone runs up and just jumps on me, they could actually really hurt me. So yeah, thanks again, Citrine. I really enjoyed your input there, and it will help out hopefully with a lot more people to understand your what you go through and what people with the same issue go through. And also, I hope we reach out to some people with these the same disability as you. Maybe they are gonna get something from this that helps them. So, and they also get to know they're not alone. So, guys, thank you again, Citrine. Thank you all. Have a wonderful day. Big hugs. Oh, I'm gonna hug you all. And it's boop. And we gotta give you guys the lick. You guys have a wonderful day. We will see you next video.